Y'all are probably looking at this post right here and saying to yourselves, Torian, I wonder where you're headed with this. Trust me, it's in a very interesting direction, and it's actually something I wish I had talked about before, but then when I saw a particular post, or it was brought to my attention on X, I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do this and talk about this right now. So I'm actually going to put this post on ice, but I'm going to bring it up towards the end of the video, but you'll see exactly what I mean when we get there. But before we get into all of this, I wanted to actually show y'all a couple of videos and explain what I believe is actually going on.
Yeah, so I just wanted to come on here and get some shit off my chest, because for about the past, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe, I've seen a lot of black celebrities and media personalities and so-called journalists make it their business to try to shame and denigrate and shit on and insult the intelligence of black men because they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. They are actively out here villainizing black men for not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris. And I said it before and I will say it again. They think they own us. They think they own our fucking vote. They want us to believe that we have some sort of obligation to them, that when it's right for them, we should play identity politics and vote for her because she's black. And now they're pushing the narrative that we're dumb, that we're uneducated, we're misinformed, we don't know what the fuck is going on. And the crazy thing about it is, it's the complete opposite. The people who are running away from Kamala Harris are the people who are informing themselves, who are researching, that actually know what the fuck is going on and just not letting themselves be told any goddamn thing. That's the reality of the situation. So, you know, it's astonishing to me to see it though, where you have these people, they sending out these black women and these boot-licking ass men, right? The Van Joneses, the Bakari Sellers, the Roland Martins, right? The DL Hugleys, even Plies, and it's a whole bunch of them who are trying to shame black men for thinking for themselves, because that's all they doing. We're thinking for ourselves. They're just like when a slave owner didn't want you to learn how to read. Because once you learn how to read, you have knowledge, and knowledge is fucking power. And that's the problem. No, watch MSNBC. Don't do no thinking. Let us tell you what to think. Huh? Don't you want to see a black woman president? Don't you want to see somebody who belonged to a sorority? Don't you want to see a black woman get sworn in by a black woman on Martin Luther King's birthday? A whole bunch of token shit that don't mean a goddamn thing. That's what they want us to vote for. Y'all out your motherfucking minds, man. I was listening to Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley talking about in regards to black men, they not doing the right research. What? Who the fuck you talking to, Ricky Smiley? They not doing the right research. So because we're thinking for ourselves, we're not doing the right research. We're supposed to listen to you. That's the right research. And we're going to just keep seeing more and more of this shit. Joy Reid telling black people, you're going to look weird. What the fuck? We in the 6th grade? Don't nobody give a fuck about looking weird. We worrying about the issues, the economy, our communities, our children, our futures. What the fuck you talking about looking weird? See, that's the dumb shit. See, that's for weak-minded people. And they just going to keep going, bro. You get all the narratives is going to keep going. Sellout, coon, traitor, you hate black women and all that cool shit. Bakari and Van Jones up on CNN crying and boo-hooing. Don't nobody give a fuck. Too smart to fall for that shit, man. So y'all could keep rolling that shit out. We gonna keep standing 10 motherfucking toes down. The fuck out of here. Love the black man until he wants to think for himself, till he wants to form his own opinion, until he stops seeing himself as a victim, and then he becomes the enemy. And I'm watching this shit happen in real time. It's happening right now. And all you got to do is keep your eyes open, pay attention, and you can see it clear as day. This shit is real. So I'm saying all that to say, if you an actor, a rapper, a comedian, or anything else, you're not going to dictate our decision by calling us names and trying to make us feel bad. Fuck you.
So y'all just heard that video right there, and this is the video that I came across in one of the Discord servers that I'm in. And let me just say this right quick. What this man said, he's not even lying about. He's actually being completely honest with his assessment, because we've seen so many times, especially from that particular side, where they will often, and way too often to be honest with you, try to shame black men into supporting something against their own interests. And the minute that we say that we're not going to do it, then we get called names and we get vilified and all this, that, and the third by a particular group, or the shills and everything. And I keep telling people, one of the reasons why this election is just blowing me right now is mainly because of the shills, and often too much from even both sides. They're seeing this or portraying this out to be an entertainment thing when it's supposed to be a policy-based thing. But more often than not, they keep putting out there, oh, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. Or they'll do the typical scare tactic, oh, if this happens, this is going to happen. If this is going to happen, I'm like, look, whether you use the scare tactic or the shield tactic, or however it is that you plan on doing whatever it is that you do, it's not going to work. It's not going to work either way. Like, that's worked maybe, on our ancestors, but now with more information and with technology, we can go forward and look more into and do proper research on people with how things are supposed to flow and with how things are supposed to be meant to be ran. But the reason why I played that video is not to come at this guy, because again, what he said, he wasn't lying in pretty much his entire assessment with what he was saying, but it was the response that was given. So what I did was I took a lot of screenshots of of who responded to him, and I want y'all to just take a glance at what the people were saying, and then we'll go over why I took these screenshots. So as you can see by those screenshots and seeing some of those responses, those were just some of the responses underneath it. And it went back to the post that I posted up at the beginning of the video itself. Like I said, I'm gonna go back to that post at the very end of the video because we still got a couple of more things that we got to discuss. But look at what they were saying. Oh, I love this guy. I can listen to him talk all day. Oh, he's a hero. Oh, he's a patriot. They tend to always do that when they come across a black person, specifically in a lot of cases a black man, who talks in the vein that he does that is affecting him. But when they feel that he's speaking in the tone of support, even if he's not supporting them, then that's when they want to come in droves and talking about how they're a patriot and they're a hero. Oh, they're speaking the truth and this, that, and the third. And he's not the first person I've seen actually not do this, but the first black person that I've seen them do this with. If you go throughout YouTube or X especially, you see that quite often. And it's crazy because that can eventually shift into that of a finesse, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean right now. So some of you may or may not remember this story that came out in 2018 about this young woman right here. And she is a black woman, as you can see right here by the picture, and she has on her Make America Great Again hat. This is in 2018, so we're halfway into Trump's first presidency. And she wrote, "I will not hide any longer. The left has made us feel as if black Republicans should hide, but not anymore. Hashtag blacks for Trump. Hashtag walk away. Hashtag MAGA." She wrote that at 12:15 p.m. on October 27, 2018. And as you can see, it got over 17,200 likes and over 1,600 replies. So all she had to do was post up a picture of her wearing a Make America Great Again hat, say a couple of words, and that was enough for them to flock to her like bees to honey and leave the same similar type of comments that you saw on this other man's page that I just showed you the screenshots to, and just say the same exact verbiage that you saw that I just displayed to you. It's so easy to finesse them. But for her, the finesse did not stop here. Now, like I told you, if y'all are familiar with the story, you already know what she did next. And man, when I tell you she laid it on thick, she laid it on thick. So here's another screenshot, part of the finesse that she was running, where now she's talking about how her mother found out that she was a MAGA supporter, or she was a Republican and she was supporting Trump and she wasn't a Democrat and all this type of stuff. And now she's claiming that she had an exchange with her mother, saying how her mother's going to kick her out and now she's about to be homeless, how her mother screamed at her, how her mother berated her and, told her all types of stuff like that. I mean, this woman really laid it on thick. So you can see right here in the post, this is a couple days after the first post. This is November the 1st. So this is what, 3 or 4 days later. And this is what she put up there. She says, "I'm now getting kicked out. My mother literally woke me up out of my sleep and screamed at me. How could you support this monster? She doesn't even know him, so how can he be a monster?" And then she's writing and replying to people saying, "Thank you all so much for your overwhelming support. After seeing this tweet, my parents cut me off and refused to pay my university tuition. So if you can find it in your hearts to help this young black Republican pay for school, it would be appreciated." And then she put an American flag emoji behind it with the GoFundMe link, and then underneath it has the screenshots between the text between her and her mother. I'm telling you, this woman's finesse worked like a charm, because the next thing that she did was absolutely diabolical. I mean, it was very hilarious how she was able to slightly kind of pull this off. So what was floating around, at least on GoFundMe, or the thing that was floating around at the time, is that she had finessed $150,000 out of some Trump supporters, but then it actually came out that she really didn't get that much money with what she was trying to accomplish, but that's what was floating around. And then she put out there that she had got $200 out of people, but then they said the GoFundMe people officially came out and said, no, this woman only made off with $97. Now, it's funny because even though she made off with only $97, okay, that was 4 people, I believe they said, donated to her. That was 4 people she finessed. Now, y'all probably saying, oh, it was only $97, but the thing is, in a way, when you think about it, her scheme did work. It would have only not worked if no one had donated. But she got 4 people. She finessed 4 people. And really what it all boiled down to is that those text messages that she was having between her mother, one of two things was happening. Either one, her mother was in on it with her, or two, she was texting a friend pretending that with her friend pretending to be her mother. It was one of those two things. I can't remember exactly what it was, but like I told you, this woman literally like played them like a fiddle. While she did not get the overwhelming support that she thought she was going to get with that GoFundMe, she did get a lot of overwhelming support in the comments of the post that she made. So again, she still got them, and it was so easy for her to get them. Which now brings me back to my initial post right here, where I was talking about my post that I had made, where I said, "Dear PC, just because there are those of us who do not support Kamala Harris does not mean that we will leap onto the Trump train either. So if I say no to Kamala, do not flood my comments with flag emojis and calling me a damn patriot and a hero." These comments that popped up literally echoed what I was conveying. What they would do if a black person said what they said right here. Again, what the man said in the video, he wasn't lying about anything that he said, but they love hearing it from them because that literally feels like they're padding their numbers, or they feel like they're going to get another person on their side. Granted, for all we know, this guy probably is a Trump supporter. It is what it is. I'm not going to shame him for that. He can go ahead and do what he wants. At the end of the day, he's a grown man. He has the right to vote and support whoever it is that he wants to vote and support. But I'm saying this, these Trump supporters be thinking they slick. That's why I'm saying when you got to watch what they say and what you say, because when you say certain things, they're going to flock to you and saying, yeah, we got another one on our side. Listen, they don't really care about you. They only care that you're there. You know, because they know who they are. Listen, I'm telling you, they know who they are. They're banking that you don't know who they are. And they need you on their side to make them not appear a certain type of way. They're not slick. Not by a long shot. Not at all. By far. And really what I also think it boils down to is because if you looked at the other videos that I've done, especially that AI one, the one where that Sharika Soul chick had put up those images, those AI images of those black women with Trump, like that's the desperation right there. Nothing they can do to really get their message out is very organic. So when they see something like this, they chomp at the bit and like, oh, we got another one, thank God. Let's see how many more we can galvanize by the 5th. Basically, they're trying to create another grifter, and they love it, especially if it comes from a black man who stands firmly on his square and speaks with such conviction, because that's the type of black man that they're going for. That's the one that they're looking for. But don't go too far, though. Only go within the realms that you're supposed to, because look at what happened with Candace. And moreover, another example, and this person wasn't even black. Look at what happened with Rittenhouse recently. He came out and said at one point, on one hand, he said he's not supporting Trump because of the whole Second Amendment thing. But then once they got in his ass and said they're not supporting him anymore, and I guess they threw him a bag, I don't know. He switched up literally within 24 hours, less than 24 hours, and said, you know what? I spoke out of turn. I was wrong. Let me go ahead now and support Trump again. And the same people that flipped on him like a light, they came back and said, everyone makes mistakes. It is what it is. Now I support you again. All is happy and fun in the world. The end. Case closed. And I said, wow. Now, if they'll do the switch up like that with Rittenhouse, they'll do that with anybody. But I'm telling you right now, if you're a black person and you try to do that switch up thing, no matter how you may try to do the whole I'm sorry thing like Rittenhouse did, they probably won't open their arms to you with the same grace that they did him. So that was really my whole point of making the video and just saying, the Trump supporters, here, this is your warning. I do not support either side because neither side is doing anything specifically and tangibly for black Americans. I told you there was 3 things on my checklist that I needed to have be done as far as demands go. reparations, intangibles, an anti-black hate crime bill, and ending qualified immunity. As of right now, neither side is speaking to that. So, as of now, and probably even then, the couch. Hashtag the couch 2024. That is who will have my vote. Until specified otherwise. And with that, I won't even hold my breath. This also proved to me without the shadow of a doubt how easy their grift is. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that the person in the video that was the highlight of this video at the beginning is grifting. But what I'm saying is a lot of people who decide to grift, especially on that side, and there are grifters on both sides, how easy it is to grift. But like I said, and it says right here in the title, their grift is easy to an extent. Easy in the sense of they can get on here and say just the most simplistic, minute thing, and it will trigger the algorithm to go in their favor. And then once they get a taste of it, they'll keep on going. But the minute they decide that they want the grift to be over, and not when the supporters want their grift to be over, which will most likely be never, because they got to ride that thing until the wheels fall off, then they'll realize how difficult it is. Like, for instance, look at what happened to Valentina Gomez. This woman did all she did and still ended up losing her election, came in 6th place. CJ Pearson, he did all of that, did a runoff, thought he was going to win it, and he ended up losing by 20% and then tried to get a recount, even though they said the rules was you had to be within 5% to demand a recount, and he lost by 20%. Then said he was going to run again in May. I didn't hear anything about him running in May, but you had all these so-called supporters that said they'll support him. Where was his support when he ran the first time? See, the thing is, to all of you grifters out there, let this be a lesson. Your grift only goes but so far. That's why I said the grift is easy to an extent, but when you try to get, as they say, too big for your britches, or get too far out there, they will humble you very fast. Look at Byron Donalds. He did all that tap dancing to try to be Trump's VP, and Trump ended up picking JD Vance of all people. And you see the scandal and stuff that's going on with him right now. I mean, this seems like everything, or every time you look up, something is coming out about this dude, but he picked him. Meanwhile, when it comes to Byron Donalds, there's a little bit here and there, but it's kind of stuff that's already been dealt with. Hell, he's more squeaky clean than JD Vance, but Trump still didn't pick him. That's why I said it had to be eating him up alive when he had to sit next to Trump at that RNC on one side, and on the other side was JD Vance, the person he chose over him. And then he still chooses the tap dance. Same thing with Tim Scott, Larry, not our elder, and so many more. It's like, wow, y'all really did all of that, and you still lose at the end of the day. Could not be me.